Hello world, let's jump right into today's hacking news roundup. First up, hackers have taken malicious Google search ads to a whole new level. They're targeting customers of Google Ads by impersonating Google with an ad on Google search. Confusing, sure, but everything will be explained. This is coming from researchers at Malwarebytes. They discovered that when you search for Google Ads, you'll often be served a totally innocent-looking ad for Google Ads itself. The title, description, and even URL are totally legit, but the link actually takes you to a phishing page, which predictably tries to trick you out of your credentials. But how are the attackers able to impersonate the key part of this ad that gives it credibility, the URL? So Google's ad policies are very clear. The final URL, that's the URL that an ad actually takes you to, doesn't actually have to be the same as the display URL, but, and this is important, the domains must match. However, cybercriminals are a creative and crafty bunch who figured out that they could use Google's own policies against them by creating websites using Google's own website creation service. By using Google Sites to create their landing page, they're given a sites.google.com domain, and whilst it does use a different subdomain, it has exactly the same root domain as ads.google.com, so using this display URL is perfectly within the rules and passes Google's filters. The bad guys are of course hoping you click their malicious ad instead of the legit Google ad link below it, and if you do, you're taken to a landing page with a button that redirects you to a phishing page, prompting you to log in with your real Google credentials. If you fall for it, the hackers will promptly log in and add a new admin user to your Google Ads account, then either sell access to it on some cybercrime forum, or just use it themselves to perpetuate this scam, creating a never-ending positive feedback loop, all whilst draining the bank account of the poor sod whom the ads account actually belongs to, because, you know, Google won't let you scam people for free. Unfortunately, this isn't just an interesting one-off case that Malwarebytes have taken interest in. There are quite a few people who have spotted this scam out and about, with researchers finding this same ad being served in 8 different countries. And Google is notoriously bad at dealing with these malicious search ads. In one of their investigations, researchers at Malwarebytes reported the same hacked ads account dozens of times over the course of months, but Google predictably took no action. It is pretty easy though to tell if an ad is genuine. Just click the 3-dot menu and check who's actually paying for the ad to be served. But this is of course a totally redundant step if you just follow the FBI's advice and use an ad blocker. Next up, a pastor of a church in Washington has been charged for allegedly defrauding his congregation in a crypto scam of BitConnect level stupidity. Francier Obando Pinillo operated Solano FI, a crypto trading scheme that, according to the DOJ, and I'm not making this up, had come to him in a dream, and that it was a safe and guaranteed investment. The pastor allegedly claimed he had some kind of god-level trading bot that could leverage trade crypto for returns of biblical proportions. This particular chart appears in many of their live streams, promising 34.9% returns per month. After just 12 months, an initial investment of $1,000 would grow to $26K, and after just 24 months, well, you'd basically be a millionaire. It's Looney Tunes level stupidity, but remarkably, it tricked over 1,500 people out of almost $6 million. But if victims weren't content with just themselves allegedly being defrauded, they could refer friends and family for a 15% commission. Victims were given access to a web app where they could track their investments and see just how much money they were making. But the interface was apparently total BS, just empty numbers on a screen. If you wanted to withdraw your crypto gains, well, you'd run into trouble. The pastor had a series of excuses. In one instance, there just so happened to be technical issues with the dashboard. In another case, he even claimed that the funds were being held in FTX, and given the bankruptcy, all the coins were now frozen. Court documents explain how one woman confronted him in person at his church, begging for the return of her money, but the pastor allegedly refused, saying he didn't have her money and that he was just too busy. All whilst this was going on, he was apparently misappropriating all the assets for himself. And during the end days of Solanify, when presumably people's patience was wearing thin, he launched yet another crypto product, Shekel Coin, the first cryptocurrency with 100% Christian values. But at this point, the game was up. The previously supportive comments had turned sour, and the pastor has now been indicted on 26 counts of fraud. And not seeming to realise just how much trouble he's in, the guy is still very active on social media, but he's facing a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. For our next story, the numbers are in, and it turns out North Korean hackers had a great 2024. According to the US government, over the past year, Kim's hacker henchmen stole $659 million in their cryptocurrency heists. Most of this was stolen in a small number of very high-profile hacks. In July, India's largest Bitcoin exchange, WazirX, suffered a breach in which $235 million was stolen. The company managed to raise funds to cover refunding their customers, and the company is still active. But the Japanese crypto exchange DMM Bitcoin wasn't so lucky. Suspected North Korean hackers drained $308 million from them, forcing them to shut for good. Kim's hacker henchmen were responsible for a few other hacks, bringing the total up to $659 million. And whilst this is an impressive number, blockchain analysis company Chainalysis thinks it's a massive underestimate. They reckon the true amount stolen for 2024 is $1.3 billion, topping North Korea's previous personal best in 2022 of $1.1 billion. This chart from them pits North Korean hacks in blue against all other cryptocurrency hacks combined in orange. Year on year, you can see North Korean hackers have consistently topped the leaderboard in terms of the volume of hacks in which more than a few $1 million were stolen, with a massive spike in 2024. To put it into perspective, the $1.3 billion that North Korea stole across 47 different hacks in 2024 represents over 60% of the entire amount of crypto stolen for the whole year. However, also in 2024, there was a spike in the amount of small-scale hacks by North Korean hackers, in which they stole just a few $1,000s. Chainalysis reckons some of these cases are linked to the growing problem of North Korean IT workers infiltrating crypto and Web3 companies before stealing small amounts of cash. This is typically done by using false identities to get remote working jobs, but that's a whole different issue that I have a few videos on, and I'll link one of them up here. Regardless, the blockchain industry is no doubt the best thing to happen to North Korean hackers. With the potential to steal hundreds of millions of dollars in just a single heist, no longer are they piddling around trying to extort a few $100s here and there with ransomware, or at least it's not their main thing. It's still a side hustle, apparently. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.